Who? I don't know. I see Tiger Beat though. Yeah, the blue sweatshirt. So if you're tuning in, this is the anti-SOPA rally in front of Civic Center in San Francisco.
Okay, I'm Ron Conway. You just heard that. We have two gentlemen from the city of San Francisco who have
I think I can do that
significant
while I
things to say. They're also in
keep
a hurry.
it pointed the right direction.
Honored.
Thank you, Medic, for clearing the way. Appreciate it. How are you? Do you need the phone? Sweet. I have one that's not holding a charge, and I'm gonna return it on Friday morning. So I can get one work. Hopefully in enough time to charge it. And then I was supposed to get today, but I don't know. And then
The only one I know to keep that plastic still on their screen.
Oh, it's actually one I bought. Yeah.
Stick it on. I know some people keep it. They keep the original
They have
plastic.
one that's a lifetime guarantee. It's $20, and if it gets damaged or anything, you can send it in or get a new one.
So the Honor has it.
Huh?
Honor has the guarantee. I've
Yeah.
gotten ours, but
I forget the name of this one. I think it's in Visit Shore. But
My mom used to keep it. She has a fire phone. She kept the original plastic that was on the screen. It stays on.
my iPhone.
It stays on. It stays on. She said, you got to be out of your mind.
the ugly face is help actually because it bounces.
Yeah.
Every time I want to take this off.
I'm gonna move closer so that I can get this
balls up to the end of your palm.
Sorry about the audio. I'm gonna get closer now.
We want to make sure that San Francisco stays
I'm not following you. I'm trying to get closer.
that the electronic frontier is taken care of, and is that as we move into the 21st century, that we are doing the right thing again for our local economy, for innovation, and for technology. Thank you very much. Awesome. 2 weeks ago, Ed Lee announced that he has appointed a first time ever Chief Innovation Officer of San Francisco. His name is Jay Nath. He's standing right behind me. Jay is going to read a statement from Mayor Ed Lee, who today is at the Council of Mayors meeting in Washington, D.C., and consistent with the statement that Ed Lee is making here through Jay Nath, he is also petitioning the Conference of Mayors to take action as well. So here's Jay Nath.
Thank you, Ron. I'm really excited to be here in front of all of you. The passion, the energy of this community, and the influence that you've had locally and nationally coming together as a community technologist, I think is really something to be proud of. And I'm really proud of the fact that Mayor Lee and his administration is opposing SOPA. And here's a little statement from the mayor that I want to read to you. Innovative technology and new media companies in the San Francisco Bay Area and across the nation are creating hundreds of thousands of good jobs and driving our economic recovery. While protecting intellectual property against piracy is extremely important, we must not take steps that stifle the free exchange of information on the internet or harm critical engines for jobs and economic growth. As currently proposed, both SOPA and PIPA are overkill. This is a new frontier, and I strongly urge members of the House and Senate to consider all the issues at stake more carefully and seek greater input from all impacted communities to help craft a more focused solution that protects against piracy while preserving the free flow of information that is a cornerstone of the 21st century economy. As a nation, we cannot afford to undermine our innovation economy, jeopardize thousands of jobs, and threaten the basic architecture of the internet. Thank you.
Okay, now I have something to say. I'm Ron Conway, resident of San Francisco, born here, third generation San Franciscan. I have invested in over 600 internet companies since 1994. To give you a feel for that, Mark Andreessen was still a student at the University of Illinois in 1994. And investing in the internet was the best decision I've ever made as an investor. I've been fortunate enough to invest in companies like Google, Facebook, and Twitter, all of whom would be severely impacted by this proposed legislation. Technology and the internet have created and allowed free expression never available to the public before. That is a benefit that will be reaped for generations. Let's not take it away. Even more importantly, technology and the internet has created 4 million jobs and counting. The internet today is the biggest contributor to new jobs in the United States. We have giant companies like Google, Facebook, Twitter, and even more important and more relevant are the companies that can't afford lobbyists. Those are the startups. The startups and the companies with 5 and 10 people that are tripling every year. We cannot stifle their innovation. The technology, thank you. Technology and the internet equals the heart of innovation and job creation. The technology industry has done nothing but contribute to the economy and free expression. We are determined to work respectfully with Congress to stop this legislation immediately. We cannot censor free expression that the internet has created and helped bring the world closer together. Congress, please work with us on efforts to stop this legislation. Once again, technology has created over 4 million jobs, and we are the biggest contributor of new jobs in the United States. Please do not hurt that. With that, I'm going to introduce a luminary in the internet world. His name is Brewster Kahle, and he runs a nonprofit called the Internet Archive right here in San Francisco. Brewster.
This is an incredibly important day. How do we make this work better? How about that? Better. A little better? Okay, this is an incredibly important day. I've not been aware of anything like it before. We, the people that have built the internet, are not getting much of a vote in Washington compared to the copyright cartels. But today, by bringing our sites down, today our vote is being heard. Today, 2 million visitors that would go to the most popular library on the internet is getting greeted by a black page to raise awareness and to protest 2 bad bills that are working their way through Washington. Archive.org has gone down. Today, key websites have gone dark. They've gone dark to send a message, an unprecedented message, and a message we don't want to send this way. The idea of bringing down our services, denying our users what it is we give freely, is something we don't want to do. But we do it to show how fragile the internet is and how much Washington can mess it up. The incredibly myopic point of view of some of our legislators to try to protect some corporations' movies and music files by placing a blacklist system all over the world makes no sense. China already has such a system, and they block archives.org and the holdings of millions of books from all Chinese citizens because they have a blacklist system that is put in place by a third party where there's no recourse and there's no due process. This does not belong in America. It does not belong in the world. Our legislators do not seem to know how to keep things in balance. They are living in a lobbyist's bubble. All of the news that we've generated that is based on all of this wonderful action has only gotten comments from politicians, from the White House, from Congress, to say that they want to fix some parts of this legislation. We don't want this thing fixed. We want it stopped now.
Right.
So our task is ongoing. We have seen a burst of energy, but we need sustained pressure. But this is not easy for us. We're busy building the internet. So how do we do this? There are organizations that do represent our interests in the legislature. EFF in San Francisco, and Public Knowledge in Washington, D.C. If you don't know of these organizations, you should. We have so little impact in D.C. because we spend so little time and little money on it. I find it distasteful to slather money on politicians to try to create laws. But we can spend our time on it. And maybe they could use your help. When you are in DC, especially if you're an inventor of some cool new widget that is threatened by legislation, contact Public Knowledge to see if there's a congressman or a few that you should go and visit. I've done this. It was a very sobering experience, I should tell you. But they live in a lobbyist's bubble. They only hear from very well-paid people that are paid to stand outside their doors. Let's spend a little bit of our time, and there are organizations that will help to be able to get some of our messages across. Let's pop this lobbyist bubble and let the internet shine. Thank you very much.
All right.
Okay, I'm going to turn it back over to Jonathan Nelson, but I have a constructive idea that I would like to propose publicly to Congress and to our neighbors to the south. Why don't we find a way to innovate a solution to the piracy issue? And can we get some folks from TechNet and Net Coalition to put together a committee of technologists, and let's do what we've always done before, which is solve problems with technology, not against technology.
Yeah.
With that, I'm going to turn it back over to our organizer, Jonathan Nelson.
Thank you very much, Ron. I also wanted to say thank you very much to the city of San Francisco. I got an email 4 days ago from a community group in New York who was organizing the protest out there. Said, hey, can you organize something in San Francisco? I said, maybe. I tried to do that over the weekend. I was having a hard time, and Ron was very helpful. The city of San Francisco was amazingly helpful. They have been wonderful with this. And why? Because they are really the center of what is everything that's happening in the digital world right now. So thank you very much, City of San Francisco. Alex, is he ready? Or Elizabeth, did you want to say something about what's going on in New York?
Sure, I can go.
Elizabeth has actually been in touch with the protests in New York. They've had about 2,000 people out there today, and she just wanted to give a little update.
Thanks. Hi, everyone. First of all, I just want to say thank you so much for coming out today. Today has been an unprecedented day in the history of the internet. We've gotten reports that there has not been one day where people have contacted Congress more than today. The lines are, right? How many people have contacted your congressperson today alone? Raise your hand. Okay, so for all of you that haven't, please do so. I know that the lines are busy. Just try and try again. Here in California, our senators are co-sponsors of the Protect IP Act. How do you guys feel about that? So we need to send them a message that we as the technology community and industry will not tolerate this and not support it. As we've heard from many of our amazing speakers today, one of the great things about the internet is that we have a community. And when this legislation was first released, I was talking to some folks, Harvey, who we'll hear from next, over at Mozilla. I said, what are we going to do about this? People thought, oh, it wouldn't pass. Actually, what happened was that the MPAA and the content industry were trying to get this under the wire, not have many people notice it, get it passed before the session ended last year. Well, they had a lot of money, in fact, $94 million last year alone in lobbying, right? Way more than anybody in the technology industry had. But what we had was the people. On one day alone in November, 100,000 Tumblr users called Congress. And that was just in November. Today we will have many, many more. We've seen many of the major sites, Google, Reddit, Craigslist, Wikipedia. Lots of teenagers, by the way, complaining about how they can't do their homework today. Hopefully they will contact Congress as a result. We've really seen this outpouring of the community, and I think the major takeaway here of the internet is that we're the innovators. We're the job creators. The content industry, instead of, say, investing in startups or innovating, they're spending their money in bed with the lobbyists, right? They're spending so much money on this, but what we have is the people, and we have the power, and we have the enthusiasm of the technology community. So I just want to encourage everyone to please, please call your congresspeople and get everyone to do it, because that will result in change. As for today, I'm already hearing about a number of senators and congresspeople dropping their support for PIPA and SOPA, so that's really exciting news. It's amazing what the internet can do, but I must encourage everyone, we cannot let up now. For example, with SOPA, people have been reporting that it is dead. It is not dead at all, and actually, next month, Lamar Smith from Texas will be bringing it back to committee. So we really, really need to not give up. We have momentum, that's really exciting, but we as the internet community have the power and the people to really make a difference. So I want to thank everybody for participating in this unprecedented day of action. This is a watershed moment for the internet, and this will go down in history as this incredible day for internet activism. So thanks, everyone. Next up, I think we have Harvey Anderson, General Counsel of Mozilla. Elizabeth Stark from Stanford University. I'm Elizabeth Stark from Stanford University. I teach at Stanford for law school. I teach at Stanford Law School. I founded a program there about improving the internet.
Hi, I'm Harvey Anderson from Mozilla. Thanks to see everyone out here. This has been a louder. Harvey Anderson from Mozilla, and I think this is a pretty awesome day as a whole, and I'm really proud of everyone's efforts in this community. And there are so many people who have done so much to make this kind of organization and voice heard in a very profound way today. It's special for the web, and I think this PIPA and SOPA debate is really just the beginning for us. And I hope two things come out of this. One, that the tech community stays more organized and stays awake, does not does not fall asleep at the wheel. I mean, it's hard for us to stay focused on these issues. We know that. But this is, I think, a calling card, because the folks that want to do stuff to regulate the internet in ways that are harmful to everything that we know and believe are not going to go away. I mean, they have their issues, you know, we have ours, but they live and breathe in Washington, and we don't, typically. So hopefully today is sort of a calling card and the beginning of a time when we organize on a continual basis. We're not just reacting to something that starts, something like SOPA, something that's so crazy, but we stay more in touch. I think also today shows another thing, which is the power of our platforms on the web. And we are inherently, I would say, very apolitical on the web. And we don't like to get involved in politics. We don't like to use our platform and our voice. But today and over the past 2 months, we've seen that change. And then the question going forward is, do we take it to the next step? Do you start to examine your representatives and ask,